And that's the difference of what we're going to talk about today is whole foods and processed food. In this program today, we're actually going to do some cooking. How many of you like to cook? Very good. You boys don't like to cook? At all? I love to cook. So we're going to kind of start with that. That way while we're baking our stuff, we can talk a little bit more about whole foods. So the first thing we want to show you is a whole grain. And you're going to hear us say that word a lot, whole. Not H-O-L-E like you dig it with a shovel, but W-H-O-L-E. Whole as in like not broken up, not in parts. Okay, so first thing I'm going to pass around to you to see. Pass it down. Is a whole grain. How many of you think that you've ever eaten one of these? You've eaten some of these? How many of you think over here? How many of you have eaten whole grains before? You don't think you've eaten whole grains? How many of you like Cheerios? The cereal. Did you know that that's made with whole grain? And what it means is that they use the whole piece, the whole kernel here. This is what comes out of wheat. Have you seen wheat growing in the fields? Okay, this is what the machines go to harvest. This is made up of 3 parts. Okay, so it's called the endosperm, the bran, and the germ. How many of you know what germ is? You think you do. This is a different type of germ. This germ is a good germ. The germ on wheat is what makes it fertilize, what makes it allow it to reproduce. Okay, the endosperm is a big part of it, is actually the majority of the grain. And then we have the bran. How many of you have ever heard of bran? Okay, bran is something that you might find in breads and in cereals and things like that. But when they use all 3 parts, it's called whole grain. If they only use part of it, okay, it might be what your basic flour is. What color is flour normally?
White.
White. What color bread do you eat at home?
White.
White bread. What color bread do you eat at home? White bread? You lie. Jackson, what color is your bread? You don't know? Is it delicious though? And Rose, how about you?
Yellow.
Yellow?
Potato bread.
Potato bread. Very good. All right. Well, a lot of times you get white bread. And white bread, most of the time, they take out the bran, the part of the wheat grain that has a lot of nutrients. When they leave it and they grind it up, you get something that looks like this. It's kind of tan, like wheat bread. See that? So that's whole grain that we just ground up a little while ago. Miss Michelle helped me do it. We're going to grind some and show you in just a little bit. Okay? A lot of times if it's just plain white flour, that means they've taken a lot of the good stuff out of it, a lot of the nutrients. And so it's no longer a whole food. Okay, so we're going to work with this product as a whole grain. What do you think we're going to make with flour? Yes, sir. Cake. Cake would be good to me. Muffins. That's actually what we're kind of going to make muffins. We were going to make individual muffins, but the pans don't fit into our oven. Go figure. So we're going to make, we're just going to make loaves of quick bread. Here's a little thought for you. Does anybody know what a quick bread is? You think it's bread that can run really fast?
Bread that can make it.
That's actually very good. A quick bread is a bread that doesn't have much leavening in it, or leavener, so it doesn't have yeast, which means you don't have to let it sit and rise. You mix it together, you throw it in the oven, and it's done. So it's a quick bread. Do one recipe. It'll probably be a little bit easier for us to do that. What I'd like to do is we're going to have these guys work with the dry ingredients, and these 3 over here can work with the wet ingredients. All right. So what's the first? What do you think the first ingredient in muffin batter is? Connor.
Flour.
Flour. All first thing that these guys will need is 1 3/4 cups of flour. We will assist them with that. Over here, we have another ingredient. What is this? Oil.
Olive oil.
Olive oil? Do you use olive oil in baking bread? Sometimes. But we're making a sweet potato muffin. So do you think olive oil would taste good in that?
Yeah.
It is a vegetable oil.
Olive is a vegetable.
Olive is technically yes, but it has a very distinct flavor, so we don't want to use it. I am going to pour out half a cup. This is oil. Tom, do you feel comfortable pouring that into this bowl? Yeah, carefully. Very good. So we've got, where did my recipe go? I lost my recipe. You've got flour. Do you guys feel that? Put your hands in it and feel a little bit. We'll let you guys feel this as well. Don't play in the oil though. I promise you won't like that.
Smell the flour.
How about, how do we make this sweet? How do we make this sweet? What do you think? Oh, I know. I can just stick my fingers in it. No. How about we could do sugar? You could do honey. We are going to do this with Splenda today. So you all need to measure out 1½ cups of sugar. Can you help with that?
Uh-oh.
You're welcome. What do you think chickens have to do with this recipe? Nothing. Anybody have any ideas? Eggs. Very good. Eggs. Can you crack them without getting shells in there? Thank you. 1½ cups. I'll put the shell right here. All right.
Here. Oh, yeah, you can put your shells in there. You can.
I never cracked it. Okay.
You can tap it on the table, right? Yeah. Good job. Pull apart.
There you go.
Good. Now let's put your shells right in here. There you go. Here, do you need
2 eyes, banana mouth. 2 eyes, banana mouth.
3. They don't need
You might need that.
Whoop, Jackson, don't do that, buddy. You don't want to make. All right, and I'm going to give you guys one more messy job while they're doing liquid stuff. All right, what is this? Who can tell? Do you want to know on this side what this is?
A sweet potato.
Yeah, you're not on this side.
A potato.
It is a potato. What kind of potato?
Sweet potato.
So what color is it on the inside? Sweet. I wish that was a color. It is. That's going to be the flavoring element in there. Okay, so you want to take one, and you'd like to take one, and you take one. All right,
So
I
we
need
just,
you
like,
to
peel
peel all the skin
and
off.
then, like, put it in
Well,
the
we
mix.
only need 1 cup. So once you get this peeled, we need to then break them up, mush them, and put them into the cup. And squish it in your hands real good. Now, put your half in there. That feel weird? Yeah. Now, oops, look at that. You got
This
skin
skin
in yours.
off.
Oh, we have 4 different ones.
Skin won't come off. I'll just stay over there.
Well, they only need a little piece of it, so take a piece without.
Yeah, just pull a piece without the skin off. All right, very good. Let's see this one. All right. Right over here, right down the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you guys ready on this side? Does that look delicious? All right, so we've got our wet ingredients, we've got our dry ingredients. In baking, this is called creaming, because we're going to take the wet ingredients and we're going to cream it into the dry ingredients. Might I have that back real quick? Another thing about quick breads that make them quick is you don't need to string them up very much. How many of you have helped make muffins or pancake batter at home? Yeah? You don't have to stir it a whole lot, do you? Just a little bit. Look how fast this comes together. Let me move over here so you guys can see. Okay. And what makes this muffin batter or this recipe different from the one that you might use at home out of a bag?
It's homemade.
It's homemade, but we also have whole grain. The whole flour. And while this is baking,
Making a little butter.
who would like to have some of this? Open up.
Butter.
No,
What is it, butter?
It's vegetable oil in spray form. It's not very tasty. You don't want it.
I thought it was sprayable butter.
This is going to be the inaugural use of the oven. This is brand new. It's the first time it's been used. So if it doesn't turn out, what are we going to blame?
The oven.
The oven.
The oven. That's right. Good answer. So we're going to spread it out. All right. And into the oven it goes. Anybody know how long we're going to cook that for?
10 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes? If this was a microwave, 5 minutes would probably be right. I think it might be a combination of the two. I think about 15 minutes is how long it's going to take for us to get this cooked. So we'll see. Okay? How many of you have baked cakes or cupcakes at home? How do you tell if they're done?
Stick in there.
And once it comes out, does it need to be wet or dry? Dry. Very good. So that's how we're going to test. Listen to me talk, right? Yeah, I mean, my kids are tired of listening to me talk from the start. Okay. I am not sure.
Smells good in here.
Is it getting there? We're almost done.
Looks like it's rising.
Very good. What do you guys
So
think?
you've got a
Very good.
vegetable in there?
No.
Sweet potato?
Oh.
You know what? This tastes so good, you wouldn't even guess that it was pretty healthy for you, would you? It's very good.